Thank you very much. So good afternoon, everyone. And I hope I'm not just the last session you attend. It also gives you some insights. And what we will do differently here is because I will not be able to attend and host a round table, I would kindly invite you after my presentation to ask your questions directly to me. We do a 5 or 10 minute, depending on the number of questions, and then we open up the 2 other round tables. So first of all, I'm working for SMA Solar Technology. The name says it all. As you can see also on the picture, we are one of the global leading solar system providers in the world. And my role in this team since 1.5 years is the global head of e-commerce and digital services. Everybody would think, well, that's maybe at SMA since 15 years. No, it just started with my team. So it's a totally new topic for us. And I thank Christiane from ING a lot for talking and introducing customer experience, because a lot of things which I just heard, I had deja vus from the talks of the last 18 months with SMA, because it's an engineer-driven company. And we are producing products with the engineer first, and then we thought about the customer. And now since a couple of years, we are turning this around, putting the customer into the center of attention, and also trying to really create a smoother customer experience. And just to keep in mind, it's a business-to-business company. So we are not talking about end consumer customer experience now in my speech. We are really talking about how to talk to installers, to large-scale installers, solateurs as we call them, and what's really driving their market, what's driving their needs, and what is really driving us to keep a competitive advantage or even gain it back. 3 parts of the presentation. So what's happening with the market and the customer? Second one, what's really meant by a digital experience platform, and what's maybe a transition from B2C to B2B, and a lot of might know this, and how do we implement it? And as we speak, we are still programming, we are still working on it, and the go live for it is planned for middle of October. I'm happy if it's November, to be honest, but at least this year. So what's the market all about? So when I joined SMA, for me, the biggest challenge was to engage my colleagues, engage our teams, that a B2B marketing and a B2B sales team needs to think also like a B2C sales team, because our customers are also private people having private experiences in ordering online and having online digital services and having digital products, having their customer experiences and having it all on the tip of their thumb in their mobile phone or on their tablet. So we all know from, and I don't want to go too much into detail, that we are very used to give feedback, to get immediate response, to have personalized contents, to getting in our multi-channel campaigns the content we are interested in. We don't want to read a lot, as we heard. We directly want to go to the point, what we need, where we're interested in, and what we need maybe to get the right information and the right product. With an solateur or an installer craftsman, it's even more critical. Time is critical for them. Installing a solar system should not take longer than 2 days. With us, sometimes it takes longer, so we need to speed up our processes. We need to speed up our engagement levels, because if you are a company where it takes you 3 days or 2.5, an installer calculates for a month, you have easily a disconnect of 20% profitability as an installation company. So you sometimes not even decide for the quality. We are a quality leader, but you decide for the brand which has the fastest and the smoothest process and helps you to do more business. Besides that, every installer also wants a simple shopping experience. Our value chain is very long. We always go via middlemen, via merchants, via global distributors. We hardly don't sell anything direct to installers. So whenever you plan your project, you need to plan aside the technology and the software setup for your system, but you need to early enough engage with the different sales channels to get your spare parts, to get your parts. And at the same time, you want to have this consistent experience. You don't care if you talk to a global wholesaler or distributor, you buy an SMA product. So you want, even in this experience, a smooth SMA experience. So we need to make sure with our business partners that we try to enlarge and extend our customer experience to their sales channels. and also that we really want to trigger repeat orders. A solar system lasts, if it's really high quality, 20 years or even longer on the roof of an industry hall, of a supermarket, of your private house, large-scale solar parks, etc. So it's not a repetitive, fast-moving good like every 1 or 2 or 3 years you buy a new phone or you buy, I don't know, a new technical device. You have something bought which you hope and you calculated for a return on investment of 15 to 20, 25 years. So how do we can make more money? So we need to know a lot about our customer. We need to include upselling and cross-selling and also personalized experiences in our platform to still build a stickiness, to have a high customer loyalty and to keep them engaged with us. So building this and translating this into a B2B business and into a B2B platform was at the very beginning with my team quite a challenge, because we have a very complex product, we have complex systems, we have complex extensions for the systems. We need high data quality to provide the right information and the right ancillary sales which really fit to that exact system. It's not like sell any battery for storage. It needs to be the battery which fits to the inverter, which fits to the system. The same for warranty extensions, spare parts, etc. And as I said, we have different segments and industrial sectors in our company. So you have different user groups. Could be us, like end consumers, homeowners, looking for a sustainable way of generating and consuming energy. It can be also supermarkets or wholesaler chains. One example like IKEA, you have a lot of rooftops where you have a lot of space to create energy, enable your own fleet to be fueled with EV chargers, which we also provide, or even for your clients. Everything which is visible on your market for a green footprint, we support that, but we also need to personalize when you work with us what you really need, not only from a front and system solution, but also from the technical backbone and the back end. So we needed to look into, because we have a very fragmented systems landscape and IT landscape. We have multiple touch points, 18 different touch points in a row. So let's say you are a business partner of ours, you have 18 different passwords, you have 18 different types of to engage with us, and you have 18 different possibilities to be frustrated, which for us is the biggest goal, to, as fast as possible in the next years, to lower the number of touch points or even entrance points you're having with us. So how do we keep that? Because also customer journeys can be very specific. And what it really means for us to create this, I will show you on the next slide. So our vision was to, first of all, integrate all these 18 different parts, because they are sometimes even very different systems behind, different data points. They are not connected with interfaces, so you don't have a 360 view on your customer. And also the installer has not a 360-degree view on the system he sold to his customer, and he wants to monitor and he wants to maybe extend. So for us, it's digital touch points, holistic solutions. That's the mountain we want to climb. I just brought for you some screenshots. So from the back of the room, it might look all the same, like it's all in the corporate identity, but I'm telling you it's not. It's very personalized, different shapes, inconsistent user experiences, inconsistent user interfaces, separate logins, as I said, and no consistent flow. And sometimes even you had the same idea of registering a system for a client, and you have different ways how to register, how to commission the system, depending on if you're using our 360 app, if you're using our Sunny portal, if you're going via our shop, buying items, then putting them into the Sunny design, etc. So there's multiple ways of interacting, but limited ways of engagement with data and knowledge about the customer. So what we said is we definitely didn't want to smash it all from the table and say we need to start from scratch. So taking all marketing systems off, taking all sales systems off was an absolutely no-go. So we were more building and working and doing a transformation while the whole system and the whole cosmos needed to still run. So like rebuilding a house and you still live in it. So that is also according a challenge, because freezing a system because you need to maybe connect Salesforce to SAP to Sunny Portal, and you have freeze times, but you have other deployments like you have bug fixing, etc. So it's a multi-challenge project. We are trying to do this in a semi-agile way. Why do I call it semi-agile? Because we have multiple vendors in the backbones working not as agile as others do. So we needed to balance it and find our own way of numbers of sprints, implementations, test rounds, queue gates, quality gates, etc. My marketing team says their core purpose for this digital experience platform is personalized messaging. The sales team says it's personalized upselling, cross-selling. So it's a multi-tool everybody is expecting from this platform. I think we first need to get the basics right, because aligning 18 touchpoints means you need a single sign-on. You need to have a single identifier, a meta-identifier that the single sign-on works, and a meta-identifier that all the different informations you're collecting in your different applications are still going to the same customer account, and that you're not suddenly building redundancies and double the account which is existing. So you need to know if this, especially in Germany, if Michael Müller Installation Company is Michael Müller in Nuremberg, or if it's Michael Müller in Hamburg, so to say, because sometimes they do have the same names. Because when solar started in the 90s, the word solar was in everything, solar company, solar installation. So there's still a lot of things for CRM to do. We also want to send personalized push messaging, because as you see here on the next slide, we do have a very strong collaboration with Audi from the very beginning. And the EV charging and solutions behind Audi, and also some grids they're providing, is closely linked to us. And we are providing and pushing digital software products to Audi drivers. So when we include them, they have a high quality B2C experience with Audi. So they expect, and they have a tremendous expectation on this when they're working with a partner of Audi and they want to use their system, and they are also having a solar installation on their house, driving an e-tron, so to say, could be other cars as well. And by using this portal and combining the EV charging app, the Sunny portal, and the smart energy app, where you as an end consumer can look what's the solar production of me today? That's something where a lot of people are interested in. How much energy do I produce today? When is peak times? When shall I switch on my washing machine? When shall I switch on my, I don't know, vacuum cleaning? How fast shall I charge my car? Because EV charging is a high peak. Also heat pumps is a high peak. All this you want to see in your 360 app. You also maybe want to manage this energy consumption in one app and not the other. And if you're an installer and using it and not an end consumer, you also want to design your installation and solar system. You would like to buy parts. You also want to monitor the solar system of your customer. So a lot of use cases in place. And I'm very sorry, but I cannot show you the realistic mockups because it's still not launched yet. So as we are on AG, I'm not allowed to show that. I can just show you how we want to start with our MVP. And it's not even an MVP for me anymore. It got much bigger, but it has all the same first step base technology behind it. We decided to cluster all Salesforce applications. So everything which in our case is on a sales and marketing Salesforce application, plus a training for installers, we said we will cluster the online service center. We will cluster the shop into it. We also will cluster the claims and incident management and the lead generation for our service teams, plus installers. If we are knowing now much better what kind of installer you are, we offer you tailor-made trainings. Because right now, if you log into our shop and into our trainings academy, you are flooded by papers. It's like if we're giving you 10 telephone books and are saying, hey, guy, read yourself what you need, have fun, but don't call us. And now we want to really get rid of this, save your time, and that you exactly see what you really need, what is available, when it's available, to what cost, and to what extension of service. So that's the whole vision of this, having one central point of entry, one smooth customer experience in one design, and also very fast, and not only on your mobile phone and not only on your tablet. It's not an app we are talking about. It's an online application, which is driven that it could also be used on a desktop, because majority of our customers, installers, are not working with their smartphones while they're installing a system at the client's house. It's too tiny, the screen is too small to read information, to commission this with a smartphone and scan the QR code is just a start. Then it gets too much information you need to type in. You always have the laptop with you. So that's why we need to think multi-device and more really desktop and laptop driven than any mobile phone or tablet use. So the last part, how did we do the project planning? So we were pretty sure that we want to have just one vendor. We don't want to have 4 or 5 different agencies helping us with that. So not a creative design doing the front end, not one agency designing the backbone, the other one defining the processes. We said we want to do this focused and planned from the customer perspective in the process, but with one agency. The name is Diva-E. I don't want to miss out on naming them, because it's the first time that we really as a team experience a very smooth and easy integrated collaboration between multiple disciplines of designing, programming, process analytics, and also feedback loops. So the main challenges for us with this one agency was, how do we get all this product data right? What's our data lake? Where do we store the data? How do we interface and connect our data lake with our application? It's an Adobe digital experience platform we decided for in the pitch. We also looked a lot into Sitecore, but Adobe later on was the methodology of choice, because it's very itemized and you just can buy packages and parts out of it. Then we had to look into what's really the backend integration for S4HANA and the Spryker Commerce Shop. So talking about S4HANA, Adobe, and Spryker being combined into one front end, that we all have a headless solution. I will show you later what headless means. And also for us, as we are so fragmented and split up with our digital teams from the past, we need to gather and form one team to get the same point of view from an end-to-end perspective as a team, and not having like 10 different teams meeting on an irregular basis. So we had to form a project team, we had to form project structures, project governors, also get everybody on board. What's really the value proposition of this? What's the benefit for them? Not only for us as a sales and marketing team, and also getting not only just the C-level in, but more the middle management. So middle management, information, transparency, communication, explaining what's really the potential of this is the biggest job we were doing in our team as well, besides, of course, steering all these different sprints and work packages and focus topics. But that's really key. So if you're not having everybody aligned, this global project won't be a success. So because I got a lot of times asked in the last events, what's really the system landscape? I don't want to get too technical, but I brought it for you today. So what we decided and what's new, this whole middle layer here was not existing before. So we pitched a new e-commerce platform. We decided on purpose to not stay with the existing shop we are having in place since 5 years. We also had to look into our content management system, and also in what's really the experience and data-driven engine behind this DXP. So we decided for Spryker and Adobe, and then of course Adobe Analytics and Targets comes with it. Target's very important for our success. And what's really important for us as well is the connection to Salesforce and to our customer portal, Sunny portal, where all the installer database and the system information is in, because the digital experience platform is as dumb as the education you do to her. It's like ChatGPT. If you don't feed them the right topics, they don't know how to answer. If you don't feed the right customer information, they don't know what to show. So hardly any content is a challenge. So we need good content, but we need also the data and the information to decide what content do we want to show to whom, and making sure that the quality of our data is right, so that we are really not experiencing in our launch that we are showing homeowner installations to a large-scale project installer. That would be one of the worst cases which could happen. As you can also see, we still keep all our backbones. We don't change any of that. So we stay with SAP, we stay with Salesforce, with our PIM and our DAM system. And there was a huge discussion on what's the DXP front end, because it's a headless system using a middleware layer. And we decided for MuleSoft, and headless means that we are not using on any of the existing front-end designs the individual solutions are providing. So we are going for Angular. That's the decision we made, was based on cost, based on speed, based on responsiveness to the backbone systems as well. So whenever we will switch on and gain new markets and say, let's go maybe to South America, somewhere where we are not really big, or in Southeast Asia where we want to do more business. With this platform, it helps us in a couple of weeks, if the processes are in place, to really switch on a new website in language, in currency, to switch on the online service center, to switch on the ticket services, the communication, the training platform, because they are all using the same front end. We need to make sure that, of course, the backbones are provided to the right information, but the front end design doesn't need to be done. So it's an ease of doing business, but it's also a speed to market we want to achieve, and a cost efficiency in development at the same time, by scaling and having a blueprint to go bigger and more international, and also more consistent across the existing markets. So I talked a lot already about this, and just keeping the time in place, and that we don't want to do some questions. I quickly went through the last 2 pages. A lot of people said when we started the project, wow, it's so big. Are you sure you want to do that? It's so complex. So I think it will be very complicated. And if you hear this 100 of times, you and your team, you start to doubt, like, are they sure? Are we too much willing this? Are we too much behind this, too much melted and covered with honey from all these pitches? Sorry for saying this, but sometimes you're too convinced then. But then we really talked very, very long and very much into detail for a couple of weeks about what really the challenges are behind, challenged the agency we signed, also challenged our IT, because it's not only an external development project, our backbones need to be connected as well with MuleSoft. And then we said, well, it's not that complicated, it's just a lot you need to think of, but overall the headless solution takes a lot of complexity out. Overall, that you know that you want to have a leading data lake, etc. So it's about, sometimes, as you said, slicing the elephant, but also maybe it was not even an elephant. That's something we learned as a team a lot. Complexity shouldn't hold you back. Having all the systems in place, I think, is something where we needed to really be brave to drive a decision, because there's a lot out there for customer experience. There's a lot out there in use cases. There's a lot out there for global approaches, but we want something which is customizable, because from our experience, and we are a new team coming from different B2C angles, intercultural aspects of usability and how the user reads and how he clicks and how he experiences and gathers information, and also the purchasing and exit process needs to be customizable. So for us, it was important that we we have something in place where we can ask us the question, how should the front end look like, but how easily could we change this if user experience in Asia should and will be different than in America or Europe? And also, where do we will end up? So how can we still gain this speed advantage in a headless approach and still being able to customize and having this intercultural change in there? The third stage where we're now in, we're in the last stage of development. Development will be done in June. Then we were agile and tested in between. There will be a soft launch starting, and I can say that we will start in South Africa. A lot of people ask why South Africa, it's such a small market, and that's why. It's English, it's scalable in a lot of, so it's an English test. It's a small country. We have very good connections. We have very good customers who said immediately, hey, for us, it's an honor as South African market to be the first and not being Germany, not being Spain, Italy, or Scandinavia. So we are doing South Africa because they have a very heterogeneous market. And so that's our proof. And then we will just do the big jump, Europe and Australia and the US, all in 14 to 16 months. But it's not only about proving that the store and the portal is running, it's more about, and that's where we really learn a lot at the moment, to rework your processes. So it's really nice if somebody buys a topic, buys an inverter and reads about a topic for training and pays with a credit card or PayPal or Google Pay and has a smooth digital experience. And then it drops into our warehouse and people start to print text, put stickers, no information about track and trace, no information about retours, no information about service complaints. So we really need to think this customer experience beyond the experience of a digital front end we see as a consumer. We need to think this customer experience really until the end, until you have everything in your hands as an installer to go to your client and install the PV system. So that's also something where we as a team and also from engineering processes, we really need to extend our go-to-market process a lot. And that's it. That's my take from translating B2C to a B2B company to a German hidden champion, being based in Germany, but acting and operating globally, and trying to really get this whole project running in a way that it's internally accepted and externally successful. Thank you very much for your time.